Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the second section of our chapter 3, that is separation, right? So, in our today's lecture, we will study about separating insoluble solids from the liquids. How can we separate the solids that are insoluble in liquids, right? Suppose we add salt into the water, then the salt get completely dissolved in water, right? So salt is said to be soluble in water. But if I mix rice into the water, then will it get completely dissolved in water? No, it will not get completely dissolved in water, right? So it is said to be insoluble. So the things which get completely dissolved in water are called soluble in water, but the things which do not get completely dissolved in water are called insoluble in water. Okay, yes, we have written here also solids which are not miscible or not dissolvable in a given liquid are called as insoluble, right? For example, the rice in the water. This solid is called the solid is called solute while the liquid is called as solvent. Okay, students, the thing that we have mixed in the liquid is called the solute, while the thing in which we have mixed our solute is called solvent, right? For example, we have added rice in the water, so rice is called as solute while water is called as solvent. So in the further slides we are going to study that how we can separate solid from the liquid, right? The first process by which we can separate solid from the liquid is filtration. What do we do in this method? Students, you have to read along with me. The process of separating an insoluble solid from a liquid by passing the liquid through a filter paper or muslin is called filtration. Okay, how can we separate the insoluble solutes from the solvents? So to separate the insoluble solutes from the solvent, what do we have to do? We have to pass it through filter paper. Students, filter paper is usually something like as our mom are using uh, the filter to filter the tea in our home, right? As our mother separate the tea leaves after making the tea, similarly filter paper is used to separate the solute from the solution, right? um, and by using this method, CT sewage system and drinking water scheme make use of filtration process, right? जो हमारे पास ड्रिंकिंग वाटर आता है वो वाटर को ड्रिंकेबल करने के लिए जिस प्रोसेस का हम यूज करते हैं दैट प्रोसेस इज filtration, right? Students, see in the picture that here we are having a solution. Solution is filled in this container. This is called beaker, and inside the funnel we have used a paper, and this paper is filter paper. Okay, and in this filter paper there are so many tiny holes from which the liquid will get passed into the container given here, while the solid part will remain into the filter paper only, and we can easily separate the solute from the filter paper. Okay, so in this way we can separate the insoluble solids from the solution, right? Students, here you can see that the solid part get accumulated here while the liquid part pass through this funnel and reach into the beaker given here, right? I hope the figure is clear to all of you. Now this process is called as filtration. The second process by which we can filter or by which we can separate the insoluble solutes from the solvents is that it is loading, right? What do we do in this process? Let us see here. The process by which insoluble small suspended particles in a solution are made heavier in order to increase the rate of sedimentation of particles is called as loading. Students, by its name, as we can understand that we have to apply load on something, right? Load means वजन, right? So if we apply load on something, then this process is called loading. So what do we do in this process? We increase the mass of the solutes, so that if their mass get increased, then what will happen? They will get deposited at the below surface of the container, right? And then we can easily remove them from the container. Okay. uh, you will better understand it with the help of diagram. Students, see here. Dirty water is there in the container, right? There are so many dust particles here, right? So what happens if I suspend alum? What do we mean by alum? alum को हिंदी में बोलते हैं फिटकड़ी, right? हम पानी को साफ करने के लिए उसमें फिटकड़ी डालते हैं ना. So तो फिटकड़ी पानी को कैसे साफ करती है? By the process of loading. What will happen when we add this alum into the water? Then this alum will increase the mass of the dust particles present in the water, and as the mass of dust particle get increased, so they will get deposit at the bottom surface of the container, and then we can easily separate the pure water, the clean water at the upper surface, and we can throw the dust particles which get deposited at the bottom, right? जैसे ही हमने एलम को बीकर में डाला, तो जो डर्ट पार्टिकल्स हैं उनका मास ज़्यादा हो जाता है, और वो जो डस्ट पार्टिकल्स हैं वो नीचे की तरफ डिपॉजिट हो जाते हैं, और फिर हम क्लीन वाटर को इजीली निकाल कर यूज़ कर सकते हैं और इन डर्ट पार्टिकल्स को फेंक देते हैं. सो द प्रोसेस बाय विच एलम cleans the water is called as loading, right? Now, the next process that we are going to study is configuration. What do we mean by the word configuration? Student, read along with me. The configuration is a machine that rotates at very high speed, and by centrifugal force, substance of different densities are separated. So a centrifuge is a machine basically, right? Centrifuge is a machine जो क्या करती है? रोटेट करती है, and with a very high speed. It rotate with a very high speed, and due to that very high speed rotation, a force is applied on the substances of different densities, and then they get separated, right? It is something like our washing machine. Okay. If we put clothes in the washing machine, then the washing machine will get rotate, right? Similarly, if we add anything into the centrifuge machine, then the centrifuge machine will get rotate, and it will rotate at very high speed, so that the objects of different densities will get separate. For example, if we put the milk into the centrifuge machine, then what do it do? It will get rotated with the so high speed that the milk gets separated from the cream, right? अगर हम मिल्क को या कर्ड को सेंट्रीफ्यूग मशीन में डालते हैं, तो क्या होता है? जो मिल्क है वो अलग हो जाता है, और जो क्रीम है वो अलग हो जाता है, राइट? सिमिलरली कर्ड में से भी अगर हमको क्रीम निकालना है, तो हम इसको सेंट्रीफ्यूग मशीन में डालते हैं, फिर सेंट्रीफ्यूग मशीन जो है वो बहुत हाई स्पीड से रोटेट करती है, और जो कर्ड है वो अलग हो जाएगा, और जो क्रीम है वो अलग हो जाएगा. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, नाउ yeah, you can see in the picture also that this is a machine. This is a machine, right? It rotates with so high speed. Here is the arrow which shows that the machine will get rotate with the so high speed. And if it rotate with the so high speed, then what will happen? Here is the mixture, right, in which milk and cream both are together. But after rotating, what will happen? The milk will get separate here, while the cream will get deposit here, and we can easily separate cream from the milk now, right? So this process is called as centrifugation, by which we can easily separate cream from milk or curd. Now, the next process is separating soluble solids from the liquids. This was the process for separating insoluble solids from the liquids, right? The solids which are not soluble in water are called insoluble. But what if we have to separate the soluble solids from the liquids? Soluble solid का मतलब क्या? कि suppose I take water in a glass, and in that glass of water, if I add salt, then what will happen? That salt will get dissolved into the water, right? And now if I want to separate the salt from the water, so how can I do it? This we are going to see now. Okay, so when solute dissolve into solvent, the mixture is called as solution, right? जब हम solute को solvent में mix कर देते हैं, तो हमको क्या मिलता है? Solution. इसका मतलब क्या? जो हमारा सॉल्ट है, नमक है, वो सॉल्यूट हो गया. जो पानी है, वाटर, वो सॉल्वेंट हो गया. और नमक और पानी मिक्स होने के बाद जो बना है, उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? सॉल्यूशन, राइट? Now, if I want to separate salt from the solution, then the method used to get solute back from the solvent, yeah, solutions are described as. Okay, students. So the methods to separate the salt from the solution are given in the further slides. We are going to see that. The first process is evaporation. Okay. This method is used to separate solid dissolved in a liquid. Students, what do we mean by the word evaporation? Um, Evaporation means when water is kept in direct contact with the sunlight, then it will get convert into the gases, and it will become cloud. This process of get converting liquid into gases is called as evaporation. Okay, so what will happen if I take the mixture of water and salt, and if I keep it in sunlight, then what will happen? The water will get evaporate, and only the salt particle will remain in the container. And in this way we can separate common salt from the sea or lake or our container also, right? So this process is used basically to get salt from the seawater. Students, you know now that we get salt from seawater, right? So the evaporation method is used to get that salt from the seawater. Okay, students, as you can see in the picture, that here water is filled in the container, right? What happens when the temperature is given to water externally, or it is kept in direct sunlight, then what will happen? The water will get evaporate by forming the gas, right? And the process of converting this water into the gas is called as evaporation. In this way, the water will get evaporate, and the salt will get remain in the container, and we can easily get that salt. Now the next process is crystallization, the process of separating a pure substance in the form of crystal from its hot saturated solution by cooling it is called crystallization. What do we mean by crystallization? अगर हमको प्योर सब्सटेंस में से अगर हमको किसी प्योर सब्सटेंस को सेपरेट करना है, किस फॉर्म में? क्रिस्टल्स के फॉर्म में, बाय बाय किसी हॉट सैचुरेटेड सॉल्यूशन को कूल करके, तो उस प्रोसेस को हम बोलेंगे क्रिस्टलाइजेशन, राइट? हमने एक हॉट सैचुरेटेड सॉल्यूशन लिया और जब हम उसको ठंडा करते हैं, कूल करते हैं, तो क्या होता है? वो उसके क्रिस्टल्स बन जाते हैं, राइट? And that crystals are of nothing but the pure substance that is contained in the solution, right? This process by which we can get the crystals is called as crystallization. Okay, now what do we do in this method? We will see. Students, as you can see in the diagram, that here solution is made by adding the solid with the solvent, right? So that we get the solution. Now if we heat this solution, then what will happen? The liquid part will get evaporate, and um, when we cool down this solution, then the solid part will get accumulated at the below surface of the container in the form of crystals, right? So in this way we can get the crystals of pure substance from the solution, and this process is called as crystallization. Okay, students, in this, these are some of the ways by which we can get the we can separate the solutes from the solvents. That's all for today's session, students. The further topics we will study in the next lecture. Thank you.